Hey guys, welcome back to the GM's table. Before we get started, I want to remind everybody to like, share, subscribe, do all that great YouTube stuff. If you want to help support the channel more than that, check out the doobly-doo below where we got the Patreon. You'll get videos early, get access to PDFs, get access to GM material, all that great stuff. Heading on, this is Let's Run Savage Worlds. It's Wednesday. It's Savage Worlds Day. As I've said repeatedly lately, we're not doing a lot of mechanic stuff till Black comes out, so we're doing another setting review. And this one, Sewer Rats, is a micro setting. I'm going to be real honest, and just kind of upfront. I'm going to be doing actually a fair bit of ones by Tricky Troll to do this one, because if you've seen me on the Many Savage Worlds podcast, I am on that podcast with a really cool person by the name of Nathan Carmen, who runs Tricky Troll. And he's kind of set me up with some free material for review. Now, I'm only going to review something if I think it's worth reviewing. Sewer Rats is their newest product. It actually just came out Saturday or Sunday, I forget. But just came out last weekend. And it is essentially a book for running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Gargoyles, which I find interesting. I'll discuss a little bit on my take on it for running Gargoyles. I think it needs a little more tweaking. But it's basically a mini setting to run Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and it's all you really need for that, which is great. It's under $5. I'm going to throw that out right now because since they are micro settings or setting kits, they're not as big. This thing's 23, 24 pages. But it's like $4, so it's good and cheap. Now, the setting itself is a little different because, well, you can't just rip off something whole cloth. So I'm going to compare this to Ninja Turtles so you can see the difference. So in this setting, everybody plays humans who have been mutated by a company called Evolved Technologies Incorporated. Super evil company. I'm not going to get into the backstory of the company, however the book does, just in case you're a player in one of these games, and maybe your GM wants to leave that a mystery. But it's a company who's taking humans and turning them into mutants, and there are animal mutants. If you want to go the Ninja Turtles route and start as animals who got mutated into human-ish animals, really, you just say that's the difference. Mechanically, it doesn't change anything. But in their setting, it is different, so I figure it's worth pointing out. In this setting, mutants are actually, there's a lot more of them than Ninja Turtles. Think like late Ninja Turtles, once they were pushing a lot of toys. Like, mutants are kind of everywhere, but you do stay hidden. It's still about the greater world not knowing about you. They do discuss, you can play human, but it's not advised. If you're a human, you're like an allied human. You're one of the very few humans who knows about mutants and who is helping with mutants. Now, on top of that, as you would guess, there's multiple types of mutants in this book, which is awesome. However, it's not like there's the rat mutant, there's the turtle mutant. There is, but there isn't. They're not individual races. Instead, what we have, I'm actually going to scroll through this because I don't want to miss any of them. You have the demons, which, in all honesty, the demons are your gargoyles. They're the ones you look evil, you look demonic because of your mutations. As I said, you can use this to run gargoyles, but if you want to do the whole thing of the gargoyle show in comics where if they're in sunlight they turn to stone, you just say that happens. That's a trapping. Mechanically, these ones don't have it because they're all mutants. The gargoyles aren't these beings who are cursed and all that. Everybody's a mutant in this. So if you want to use this to run gargoyles, you gotta do a little tweaking, but nothing much. The mechanics are still there for you, and being able to make a gargoyle is very, very easy. Then you have what they call ferals, which this is all of your animals. All of your like animal hybrids are ferals. Now I'm also going to point out for the demons and for the ferals, they both have tables you get to pick on or draw randomly on using cards because of course it's Savage Worlds. So you can randomize what your animal is. You can randomize what your demon traits are. Everybody, like, the demons are all going to look demonic, but maybe you have really sharp claws. Maybe you have wings and you can fly. That kind of stuff. So you can randomize it, or you can use them as tables. And there's a good bit of selection. I want to double check. Yeah, demons have... My PDF's scrolling all weird. Let's see. We got claws, basically wall crawling, poison, inhuman health, which like you're immune to poison, everything. Lanky, which gives you a reach. Shadow meld, wings, or if you get a Joker, you get to draw 2 and pick your one. Again, your GM could say just pick one, but as it's choose a single mutation, or draw. So it's up to your GM if it's randomized. Same goes for the ferals. The ferals are, I want to actually cover this because to me this one kind of is the most important because it gives you the range if you're running a Mutant Ninja Turtles game. It's your animal type. You got amphibians, which are typically like frogs. You get a leap ability. You got aquatic, you got arachnid, which is cool. You got avian, canine, feline, reptilian, rodent, and insectoid. And just like with theirs, you get a Joker, you have to draw 2. And you still only pick 1. Now, if you're going, well, but what about like the Ninja Turtles? They're amphibians and reptiles. Well, there are ways around that. There's edges. But I want to get in because there's one more race. And these ones I actually find really interesting. Because to me, it's not very much a Ninja Turtles type. But at the same time, it expands the world and gives a little more options. Especially if you're someone who goes, well, but I kind of want to be a human. They have I think they're called the passing. Again, my PDF is dragging. Oh, normals. To be a normal, you're not human. You're human with kind of like almost an X-Men mutation. You have a single mutation. Now, normals all have something that gives them away, like solid colored eyes, weird colored hair. But for the most part, you look human. And this is actually a really good way to maybe add like X-Men type people, because what they get is they get a single power from the core superpowers. I get people who are like, the core book doesn't handle supers. It handles a very specific type of supers. It handles like low-level X-Men where you got one power and it's hard to pull off. And this does it. When I've run X-Men games in Savage Worlds, it's essentially what the normals are here, which I very much appreciate. It also means bang for your buck. Each of these races alone could have its own kind of game. Or you could run the overall sewer rat setting, where they're all together, which kind of gives you 4 games in one. You just, whether you're focused or you lump everything in, it all works really well. So moving on from that, you do get some new edges. Most of the edges are, like, there's an edge for the ferals, where they get to pick a second animal type, and you combine the two. That's how you get your, I'm a reptile, but I'm also an amphibian. That's how you get your Ninja Turtles. There's one for the ferals as well. I don't think there's one for the normals. The normals get something that lets them be even better at passing as human. You do have some archetypes, which I very much appreciate archetypes in Savage settings. I think it's one of the special things about Savage Worlds, which are pre-made characters, but like 90% complete. The pre-mades, they'll say, select your hindrances. These are the select a major and 2 minor hindrances. The rest is figured out for you, that kind of thing. Or all but 2 or 3 of your skill points are picked. So you have much less to pick to customize. Everything else is pre-done, but it's that good middle ground. I've done a whole video on these middle ground of a pre-made character, but you still customize them so they feel like they're yours. You have all of that there, and you have a good selection of these. Moving on from that, this book also has a pretty robust adventure generator. I love adventure generators, and I appreciate in something called a micro setting that doesn't need to have much. You're charging under $5 for it. It's only it's less than 25 pages, yet there's still a full adventure generator. There is also a pretty robust bestiary. It's not like this massive tome. If you've gotten a lot of Tricky Troll stuff before, because they actually have been around for a while. They put out some really good stuff. They do put out bestiaries and stuff like that. This isn't a full book dedicated bestiary, but it's big. It's pretty well built. The thing I love I wish it talked about it a bit in there. One of the great things is because how things like the ferals work and you have that table you randomly draw on to get animal. If you want Bebop and Rocksteady, it's really, really simple. You take the, like, I think there's a brute or a thug in there, and then you just take the feral and put it on top. There are pre-made mutants in here as bad guys. Every single there's a generic one, but then almost all the others are wild cards, and they have given names and backstories, and they're actually really, really useful in case you want something that isn't ripped out of a cartoon or ripped out of somewhere else and pre-made for you, and they're really interesting. I believe he's called Chomper. There's a half shark one that's really freaking cool in here, which also brings up it's what I've been wanting to do. I think you'd have to pick and choose where you want to get the stuff from, but you can run Street Sharks with this. I mean, if you are able to run Ninja Turtles, you can also run any of the Ninja Turtle knockoffs. You throw a bit of actually, no, you don't even have to throw a bit of cybernetics in, because the weird science rules are allowed in here. So you can easily do biker mice from Mars or something like that. I will note, one thing I appreciate, there's only 2 arcane backgrounds allowed in here. They're both from the core book. In fact, this whole book says everything in here is modified things from the core book, so it's already done for you, and the only book you will need is the core book. But there's 2 arcane backgrounds. There's the superpowers background, like I brought up, and the weird science background. Sorry, my mouth like dried out instantly. And the weird science background. They specifically note, even if you're not a normal, if you're a feral and you just want to have some kind of gimmick, maybe you're like, I'm reptilian, but I'm actually, I blank on his name, but I'm half that dinosaur from Jurassic Park with the fins. It's like, I spit acid in people's eyes. You take power, bolt, and anyone can take a power and still get that. Now, it is, as with superpowers, in the core, you need your own skill for each power. So, some people aren't big fans of that. I will also note, this is a setting that uses the no power points rule, which I actually appreciate. I think that's my preferred way to run powers. The thing I said I really, really appreciate, though, is a note in here. While the superpowers arcane background's allowed, if you play human, you don't get that. You don't get access to it. You can still take weird science. You can still be a human ally who gets gadgets and maybe invents things and is weird. That's fine. But if you want to look humanish and have powers, take a normal. If you want superpowers, you're not human, because that's not this kind of game. It's very upfront about that. This game doesn't actually focus on humans. It focuses on the mutants and having to live in hiding and work in the shadows and all that. So playing a human doesn't fit for the most part. You could have like one in a group and they're weird, and again, they discuss it. And I'm glad they discuss it. They outline it. They kind of give good limitations for it, where they go, look, here's what you can and can't do, and here's why, and all of it's reasonable. Anyways, that really covers it. Like I said, it's only like 23, 24 pages. So it's not this huge tome. But the thing about Savage Worlds is, you don't need it. This, a $4 PDF, plus Savage Worlds Deluxe, a $10 book. I've gotten it for as cheap as $8 on Amazon. So 12 to 14 bucks, you have a complete Ninja Turtles game. And that's really freaking cool. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Bye. If you like that video, check out another video over here. Whatever it is, it's probably pretty good. Don't forget to like, share so other people can find the channel, and subscribe right up there. YouTube now won't let me put a link to the Patreon, but there is a link down in the description below. So if you want to help support the channel, check that out, and I will catch you guys next time.